Alright, what's going on, everyone? Today we're going to very briefly, I hope briefly, I do tend to ramble a little bit, but we're going to try to briefly talk about a new Magic Arena format that some people are, you probably heard of it, so some people are a little upset about it. I want to just talk about it, talk about what it is, what the implications are, but we're going to be talking about Magic Arena Alchemy, which is a new sort of philosophy. It's a new format separate from Standard, and basically the idea is that Wizards of the Coast is going to be rebalancing cards. I'll show them on screen. Because Magic Arena is a digital format, there's no reason that you can't just, adjust values, adjust the power and toughness of cards. You can nerf decks, you can power up other ones. This is what you see in a lot of digital card games, is you can adjust this sort of stuff because the game's digital. And we've never been able to do that in Magic because obviously there's a paper element. You can't just, adjust the power of a creature or whatever. So Arena allows that, which that alone doesn't bother me that much because this is separate from Standard. Keep that in mind. This is a replacement for Standard. It's just an extra mode where Wizards of the Coast can rebalance stuff month by month. Basically, it's going to be a fresh, unique, kind of weird version of Standard on Arena where stuff isn't the same as in paper or in regular Standard, and it kind of is what it is. I don't really care that much about it, really. It doesn't bother me that much. I'm more annoyed by those Arena cards, those cards that are only playable in best of one Standard on Arena. These cards, I hate these things. I don't know why they exist. It's just completely pointless and stupid. Wish they would get rid of these. Just dumb. But Alchemy doesn't matter just because it's a separate thing. It doesn't impact me really that much. I think the big issue for me, there's a few problems. First off, you should basically never spend wild cards in this format ever. It's been a stereotype for paper Magic for years that you don't spend a bunch of money on Standard, because why would you spend a bunch of money on a Standard deck that's going to rotate when you could be putting that money into modern cards that never rotate, right? So this is like that to an extreme because the format literally rotates monthly. So it's not a good format for people with limited wild cards. It's basically going to be fantastic for those with really stacked accounts. So if you have like every card in the game, it's going to be fine because you have everything and it's going to be a fresh format constantly. So I think it's going to be good for those people specifically, but it's not the format that I would recommend people spending their wild cards on. If you're the type of person who struggles with wild cards, you don't have a lot, you can't build the decks you want, I would discourage you from spending them in Alchemy or getting excited about Alchemy because it's kind of a whales game. It's a format for people who already have stacked accounts. So just be aware of that. Another big issue with this is it's going to impact Historic, which kind of defeats the whole point of a Historic. It's important in Magic to have some non-rotating format, be it Commander, Modern, Pioneer, whatever. Just non-rotating formats are good just because it gives people a format that they can try if they don't like whatever format they're playing, and people can typically invest in those formats because their deck will be relevant like for years. Like let's say a Standard player hates where Standard's at right now, they can go build a Modern deck and play Modern for a year while Standard sucks, and then they can get back into Standard, and if 5 years from now Standard sucks again, their old Modern deck will, if it's not playable, it'll at least have playable cards. So that's the beauty of non-rotating formats, is you can spend money into them and play them for a while, and it's not money wasted because those cards will always be good. So the fact that this is impacting Historic and Historic cards are going to be constantly changing kind of defeats the whole purpose of having a non-rotating format on Arena. So I don't like that. I think that's bad. And I also think that this whole thing, the whole concept of the format changing is really bad specifically for content creators on YouTube. The reason being that we can't really make videos on Alchemy and Historic without the videos being irrelevant in a week or two, right? Like for streamers, for Twitch streamers, this is fantastic because you have a constantly renewing refreshing format that's going to be exciting to play on stream. So if you're streaming, this is fantastic. It should be great news because streamers probably have very stacked accounts. They probably have lots of cards because they're playing the game constantly. Now they have a format that changes every month. But on YouTube, for me, like, I'm never going to post a historic deck tech now, because why would I post a historic deck tech that's going to be irrelevant in like a week or two, right? It changes monthly. So if I post a video on the first of the month, that video is only going to be relevant for 30 days. And then the format basically rotates, or all the cards get rebalanced. So that's bad for me, bad for people like me, bad for people who make YouTube content, and in some way that's bad for the game, because I can't imagine that many people on YouTube are going to be making historic content now. I mean, it's cool. Some people will probably still play it for fun, but like, it's basically impossible for like the arena creators. I'm not one of those, but the Legend VD people, Covert Go Blue, you know, those arena YouTuber people. You know who I'm talking about. It's going to be really difficult for them to be like, hey, look at this cool deck I built. You can build this for so many wild cards and we'll play it. You can't really do that, because by the time you build a deck, you record the video, you post it, the deck's going to be irrelevant. So it just makes it difficult to make content for that game unless you're streaming. So there's just a lot of little problems. I don't care about the existence of a constantly shifting, rebalancing format. It's whatever. If you like that, that's cool. If you don't play it. I probably won't be playing it because I barely have enough wild cards to keep up with standard. I haven't played historic in months because I don't have the wild cards to be dumping into that format. So I'm already not going to be playing this regardless, but I don't really care about it that much. I just want people to be aware that it's definitely not user friendly. It is designed to constantly suck wild cards out of accounts and to, I guess, give streamers something to do, which is good, but it's just not going to be good for the average player, I don't think. Good for content, good for streamers, good for if you like watching Twitch streams or even YouTube streams. Do those exist? I'm sure someone does that. For streamers, fantastic. For viewers of streams, probably good. Going to be fun to watch. But from your personal experience, unless you have a very stacked account with most of the cards in the game, I would just caution you to not get too excited for something like this. And if you're the type of person watching this who's more upset about it, my general opinion about this and everything similar to this, like with historic and whatnot, is it doesn't really matter, right? Like when historic was announced, people were appalled that a format would exist that didn't exist in paper, but it doesn't matter. Who cares? When historic brawl was announced, it's like, but historic brawl isn't a real thing. It's on paper, and it's like, who cares? People like it or they don't. Doesn't matter. If I have any complaint, if I'm upset about anything, it's that the time spent making these cards, because there are original cards. I've probably been showing them on screen. There are unique cards to Alchemy that affect the game in really weird ways. My big complaint, I guess, is that they spent time programming these cards into the game when they could have been programming older sets and trying to get Pioneer into the game. So I think if there's anything that I can say with confidence, this is just like another nail in the coffin of Pioneer and Modern being on Arena. The fact that they are continuing to spend time developing stuff like this and Historic Horizons, in my opinion, is a pretty strong indication that they aren't that interested in bringing Modern and Pioneer to Magic Arena. Otherwise, they wouldn't be wasting time with this, and they'd be spending that time programming the keyword abilities of, a Battle for Zendikar and Shadows over Innistrad and Concept Tarkir and stuff like that. So I would give up hope on that ever happening, because they seem more interested in doing stuff like this, and it is what it is. So there you go, guys. Just wanted to talk about that. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.